I'd like to make a bit of a detour today and talk about bullying and abuse and general predatory behaviour. And when I say predatory behaviour, I'm not referring to leopards or hyenas or wolves or anything like that. I'm referring to human beings and the way that they predate other human beings, which all of this stuff is the real ugly side of humanity, but it seems to be so prevalent that sometimes people say, well, maybe it's because we're more aware of it, or maybe it's that there's just more of that going on now. So who knows? In general, we could say that, roughly speaking, that there could be three reasons why someone does end up as an abuser. Just thinking about it without going into too much detail, we could say that they're just a bad person, end of a story. It's just the way they are. They're bad. That could be true. Or we could say, well, they've learned this behavior by being bullied and abused themselves. In other words, it has been imprinted on them. They've been damaged or perverted from the natural way that they were and have become a copy of whoever it was abused them. And that could be true too. That often seems to be true. Often seems to be the case, though not always. And the third way of looking at it, which we don't focus on so much, would be to say that when we become bullies, abusers, predators, psychic vampires, or whatever you want to call it, that's actually a reflection of the structure of society itself. And it's kind of inevitable, given the way society is organized. So in the next 15 minutes, I just want to explore the third option, because it seems to me we really don't look at this enough. So what we can say about the structure of society, the way society works, is very simply that it is predicated upon power. So it's a hierarchical kind of thing. And the idea, if we can say society is a game like Scrabble or Monopoly or dominoes or whatever, we can say that the aim is to move up the hierarchy, climb up the ladder, become more powerful, go from being an inconsequential nobody who is at the very base of the power pyramid and gets shat on by everybody else, which is, of course, how it works. That's not good, so we want to move up. We want to be able to crap on other people, at least some other people, instead of just having everyone crap on us. So that's the idea. And I suppose the ultimate would be to be on the pinnacle of the hierarchy, the power pyramid, where nobody gets to crap on us because we're the boss. That's kind of like not everybody can go ahead and be the pinnacle of the power pyramid. Only one person can, by definition. So that's not very likely, but we can still dream. We can still hope to get all the way up the ladder. This isn't a particularly revolutionary idea. We understand that everything happens on the basis of power, if we're not completely naive, we understand that. And that might raise the question as to why we like power so much. Why is power so great? Which basically comes down to being the one who says what's going to happen, or being the one who says how things are, rather than being the one who is told what is basically told that and has to believe it by the people who have more power, or by those of us who live on a higher level of the power hierarchy. So I think it's Nietzsche who says something about the reason why we love power so much, why power is so great. I could be wrong, it could be someone else, but it kind of fits in with Nietzsche anyway, I think, and his idea of this thing that we have called will to power. But I'm not 100% sure. But it doesn't matter, because the basic idea is good. The basic idea is that when we are in a position of power, then the perks, so to speak, of this isn't just that we accumulate wealth, or we get to have lots of partners, or we get to have everyone think we're great, or everyone kind of suck up to us. I mean, there are perks as well, I suppose, but the real perk, the one that never gets talked about, is the perk which has to do with who says what is true. Now, we all go around voicing opinions and trying to say what is true the whole time, and arguing maybe about it, or finding people to agree with us about it. But it doesn't really matter what we say, because we haven't got any power, so we're just mouthing off basically, and nobody gives a damn. It doesn't make any have any effect, our stupid opinions, because who gives a damn? We're powerless, or relatively powerless, so our opinions are completely worthless. Nobody gives a damn about them. If we get to the top of the power hierarchy, however, it's different. It's not even that everyone has to go along with what we say is true, although they do, but it goes deeper than that. When we are in that position of power, such that we are able to say what is true and what is not true, that actually becomes true for everyone else, everyone on the lower level. We get to say what is true. We get to define reality. And that definitely carries benefits with it. So, suppose, just to take the case of an abuser who's in a relationship and is an abuser. They're getting off on being abusive. So in that case, supposing, well, the struggle in that case is for power. The abuser wants all the power, and he wants, or she, but more often he wants the other person, the victim, to have no power. So that's what it's all about. I want to have all the power. I want you to have no power. And then what I can do, I can redefine reality. I can say whatever I want, which means that I'm actually getting it's like I got a get out of jail card free. I'm no longer culpable. So if I'm the abuser, I can spend all my time undermining and abusing and gaslighting you. And the gaslighting is the key thing, because I'm saying what I can say because I've got the power. Is that I'm not an abuser. I'm not a bad guy. It's you who are bad. It's you who are a terrible person. And then, because I've got the power, and if I have got all the power and you've got none of the power, there's no resistance, there's no competition. You will believe what I say. So I get to be this awful abuser person and yet believe that I'm great. So I've escaped the consequence. I can behave. And so moving beyond, say, abuse or bullying, if we go on to a higher level, so I'm some kind of a leader or something of that sort, what it means is that I can say what is true and what is not true, and everyone else gets to believe it. But the reason I'm saying it is for my own benefit. I'm corrupt, in other words. It's all to suit me. So what I have said, truth is, suits me down to the ground. It's very, very convenient. So given that when we're in this position, when we do have this power, we will always define reality in such a way that it suits us, in such a way that it reflects our bias. So if I'm at the top of the power hierarchy, my bias is no longer a bias. My prejudice is no longer a prejudice. It's the truth. It's the truth. And that feels good. If I was to go around thinking I'm totally biased, totally prejudiced, and here's me coming out with all this lame-ass prejudicial shite, that doesn't feel good. No one goes around saying, well, generally, people don't go around saying, yeah, I'm prejudiced, or yeah, I'm racist, or yeah, I'm homophobic. Well, they might say homophobic. In some parts of the world, they definitely will have no problem saying that. But we don't like going around saying we're prejudiced. It basically means if I say, yeah, I'm prejudiced, I'm basically saying I see the world in a stupidly distorted way because I haven't the courage to see what's actually true. That's what it comes down to. So there is a very, very great benefit to get out of jail free card, a way that we can behave as badly as we like, really, and yet get away scot-free and everyone thinks we're great. Now, who doesn't want that? Now, in a way, we could say, well, actually, it's not a good, that sounds horrible. It sounds like an awful situation. If we thought about it, we wouldn't want it. But it's not something we calculate or consciously work towards. It's a kind of an unconscious thing. That's unconscious behavior. When we're driven by unconscious urges, that's what we drive, what we're driven towards, that's where we're going. We don't know why, we don't care why, we're not in the business of thinking about things, we're just following on from this unconscious motivational force that's acting on us. It's basically we want to get away with stuff, we want to get out of it, we want to be able to carry on doing the shit and yet not be blamed for it. We want to, on the contrary, we don't want to be blamed, we want to get a medal for it. So ideally, I would like to carry on being a real scumbag, and yet everyone tell me how great I am and get a medal for it. Wouldn't that be great? No, again, I say, wouldn't it be great? We don't really think about it that way. We just do it. It's an unconscious thing. So the way society is organized is a way that is based on power. So power is all important. Everything is about power, even when we try and pretend that it isn't. Power means control, so we can say that it's all about control. Nothing's allowed to just do its own thing and be the way that it is. It has to fit into line. It has to be part of the plan. It has to be part of the system. There's no tolerance for anything else. So control, power, two ways of talking about the same thing. So then we come back to the old question. Okay, who is at the top of the pyramid? Who does control society? And I'm not going to start going on about the Illuminati or the New Order or anything, because I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about the Illuminati. But what I do know, and what we all know really, is that whoever it is that says what is true and not true, we know from observing the structure of society, who it benefits, or what it benefits. And it benefits buying and selling, it benefits profit making, it benefits all of those of us who benefit from this whole kind of charade of capitalism. Who benefits from capitalism? A minority, obviously, and the rest of us, as so often been said, we buy into the system because we think we stand a chance of being one of those few, even though we don't really. But we're greedy enough and deluded enough to think that we do stand a chance, so we buy into it, and that's how the whole thing works. But what this comes down to is that our fundamental way of seeing reality, what life is all about, how we see life, how we live our lives, what it means to us, what we do in our lives, has all been defined for us by whatever agencies it is that benefit from the current status quo. Now, when we say agencies, straight away, because it's not necessarily individual human beings we're talking about, but more something a bit more shadowy than that. We could say that certain organizations benefit. The people in it don't. Even if I am a shareholder in a corporation and I'm raking in the money, that I'm not really benefiting, because that money isn't doing me any good in terms of my conscious evolution or anything. It's not helping me grow as a person. Money has the reverse effect. It has a very bad effect. Okay, if you've got a certain amount of money, that can have a good effect. But if you've got lots and lots of money, that has a bad effect psychologically. We know that. Lots of psychology studies have been done. It's very distorting to the personality. It kills that part of us which is compassionate. It has to, because if that part of us which is compassionate is actually in evidence healthy, we're going to feel bad, because we're going to realize that we're disproportionately hogging resources and other people. We're going to feel bad, of course we are. It's necessary to cut that off, to cut that. Now that's a problem psychologically, because the only way we can actually have a kind of a meaningful or fulfilling, or a life that actually feels naturally good and isn't artificial, a life that is actually feels as if it's worth something, a life that's actually meaningful, is when we don't focus entirely on ourselves, but when we focus on the bigger picture, and it's not all about me, basically. So we need to have this. We need to be free from the default setting, which is the self center, as neurobiologists call it. We need to be able to move on from that, because if we don't, our life will be miserable. The only way we're not going to be miserable is if we can become bigger people than we are. That's not ideology or morality or anything else. It's just the way it is. You can spot it. People that live for a cause bigger than themselves, they're actually living. They really are living. If we're just living for ourselves, that's like a parody of life. It's a kind of sad and kind of grotesque caricature of what life should be. That's all you can say about that. So this setup doesn't benefit individuals. Even the super billionaires, it's not benefiting them, for heaven's sake. Of course it isn't. It's benefiting agencies. It's benefiting structures and systems that exist in society. Necessarily inhuman structures and systems and modes of organisation. There is no doubt that they have a type of pseudo-life. We can say that a big corporation has a type of pseudo-life because it has motivation. It wants to achieve something. It wants to expand. It wants to grow. But this isn't real life, because it's not interested. It doesn't engage in two-way interaction. with the world, it just dominates it. It creates a monopoly, creates an empire. It just expands and takes over. So that's not an interaction, that's aggression. Pure aggression. It's also, it's violence. It is violence. It's abuse. It's bullying. It's all of those things. So this is the type of society we have. We're being sold a version of reality, a way of looking at reality, because that version of reality benefits the agencies that are in the position of power, that are controlling us from day to day.